It's important that we celebrate Remembrance Day to honor those who fell in battle, who fought for us to have the freedoms and rights we do today.
I think it's important to celebrate Remembrance Day to remember the people who have fought for our country and our freedom, and for us to be able to live safe and stable lives in homes and not have to worry about people coming and hurting us.
To remember, so this tragic thing that happened many years ago doesn't happen again.
I think it's important that we celebrate Remembrance Day because as we're getting farther away from the catastrophic events from World War I and World War II, some people don't remember how much turmoil not even the soldiers had to go through, but everyone who was involved in the war firsthand or secondhand. I think it's important that we have a day where we can appreciate and remember all the soldiers.
I think that Remembrance Day is a time to look back at our history and kind of recollect all the sacrifices that the people of this country and other countries have made for our freedom. And it's just a really important time for us to realize just how terrible war can be, because we see all of its effects, and sometimes people forget because they're not in a war zone, but it's important for us to have a day to look back at that.
I think it's important that we celebrate Remembrance Day because I think that we really need to remember the lives that were lost in not only the past wars but current, and the people and the families who are affected by that loss.
I think it's important that we celebrate Remembrance Day because we need to remember what the veterans did for us, and there are very few left from the world wars, and we need to teach our children and our children's children about our great country and all that they have to be thankful for and what they did for us.
Remembrance Day is significant because it's a good way to honor those who fought for our freedom. It's also really significant because it allows us to reflect on how we in Canada are free, all the effort that it took for us to be free, and allows us to recognize that not everywhere in the world is safe for people, and we should be grateful that we have the safety that we have here.
It makes me think about the freedoms that we have currently, and those who fought to ensure that we in Canada and in America, and as well as people overseas, get to have those freedoms, because it's hard for these things to come free, and sometimes sacrifices need to be made.
I think it's significant because it's really the only day of the year that we get to look at the past and recognize all the people that fought for us, and how lucky we are now to be able to go to school and think nothing of it.
I haven't had anyone personally in my family who I've lost, but it does make me think about the loss that some of these families have endured, and it just reminds me of the freedoms that we have and the loss that we've had to have those freedoms, and makes me very grateful for that.
It signifies where we started and where we are heading towards in the future, which is hopefully a more peaceful resolution.
I would say that Remembrance Day signifies a day where we come together to show respect for those who, like I have said before, fallen for us and have done their country proud.
For me personally, Remembrance Day reminds me of my grandfathers and what they both did in the war effort. My one grandfather was too young for the First World War and too old for the Second, and he tried to fudge his age and tried to get into World War II because it was an important cause. My other grandfather did go to war in World War II, and he didn't talk about it very much at all. He was very tall, so he did tell me that he had to wade out the deepest into the cold, icy waters to retrieve the planes and that he worked on. He also said where he worked, there were a lot of snakes, and he really didn't like that. But as for the war part, he really didn't speak about it much. It was a traumatic experience, but very worthwhile. He was a medal winner. He was featured in the Globe and Mail, so that was very special for our family. He also mentioned that he would never eat lamb. Anytime we'd go somewhere, he wouldn't eat it because all they fed them on the boat on the way over was mutton. And so that was a memory associated with the war that he liked to forget. But although there were some painful memories, he did have some positive ones, and he was recognized, and he lived to the ripe old age of 94, and he wrote a lot of the memories down, so we get to read it, and I get to share that with my children, which is very special. Mm-hmm.
Honor, sacrifice, freedom, respect.
Sacrifice,
War.
the war, and the people that fought for us.
I think of honor, peace, sacrifice, bravery, courage.
Hope for our future.
Giving thanks.
In Flanders fields the poppies blow.
Between the crosses row on row.
That mark our place, and in the sky.
The larks still bravely singing fly. And one more time.
Scarce heard amid the guns below.
Nous sommes morts, nous qui songions le ville encore à nos parents, à nous.
C'est nous qui reposons ici au champ d'honneur.
Take up our quarrel with the foe, to you from failing hands we throw.
The torch be yours to hold it high.
If ye breaks faith with us who die.
We shall not sleep, though poppies grow.
Au champ d'honneur.